We'll start in just a second. Thank you for being here with us. Let me try to. Okay. Perfect. So good morning. Thank you for being here for the info session and Q&A of our 2024 Spring Virtual Residency. This is a program that it's so dear to us, and we're just so grateful that you're interested on joining us and that we're able to offer this for our community as well. So before we go ahead and start talking more about the program, we just want to quickly introduce ourselves and to talk a little bit about the magazine as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start. My name is Juliana Naufel. I'm a mixed media embroidery artist, and I'm originally from Brazil. I've been splitting my time between Brazil and the US. I'm an art therapist too, and that's just because my art practice was so healing to me that I decided to investigate more like the power of embroidering vintage photographs as a way to heal. And in 2019, I met Twiggy, and it absolutely changed my life and our friendship. And connecting with someone who, just like me, was also working with vintage photographs was so, so, so important that led to creating this platform eventually. So I'm gonna give the floor to Twiggy so she can quickly introduce herself and we can talk a little bit about how Photo Trouvée came together. And yeah.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining live if you're joining live, and hello to everyone that's going to be watching the recording. My name is Twiggy Boyer, and I'm the second co-founder of Photo Trouvée magazine. I'm also a mixed media collage artist. I work with collage, found photographs, sometimes embroidery, painting, drawing, so a lot of mixed media in my work. I'm originally from France, and I came to the US for high school, and I've been here ever since. And now I am fully an artist, the founder of Photo Trouvée magazine, the platform, and all the wonderful programs that have come of this space. And I'm also homeschooling my 7-year-old daughter.
Yes, and I think the first thing we want to share, if you don't already know this, is that Photo Trouvée came from a gap that we felt in the art world, and just the two of us as artists looking for a connection, because we felt kind of lonely and we didn't know many people who were also creating work like we were. So if we weren't finding like the right opportunities or our people out there, we were like, why don't we create a space where we can come together, support each other, and create these opportunities not only to ourselves but to other people that must be facing the same challenges too. And I think that's the beautiful thing too, because we benefit so much from just having the safe space, and we feel inspired each day by the members of our community as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I actually started working with found photographs back when I was doing my bachelor's, which was a while back. So I think 2011 maybe. So I've been working with found photographs a lot. And for a long time, I didn't know a lot of artists who also used found photographs or vintage photographs in their works. And so, I always felt like maybe I wasn't at the same level as someone else who maybe was doing a more traditional medium like painting or sculpture. And because there wasn't that community out there and I wasn't really seeing other people being being exhibited with artworks that have found photographs in them, starting this platform, this magazine, this membership, this residency has really shown both Juliana and I that there are so many artists working with found photographs.
Mm-hmm.
And some are just starting and some have been working with them. And it's just so beautiful and amazing to be able to find, your people essentially, because a lot of people are not going to get it. And you might have experienced that. And so having these groups and these residencies, they're people who they get it. They get your work. They get why found photographs are so inspiring to you. And, they're just your people. So
Yes, absolutely. So we wanted to share briefly, what is a virtual residency and some differences from an in-person one and the virtual one, because we're not sure if everyone that's here or that is watching have done an art residency before, or, uh, what this program looks like and what are some of the benefits from doing one. So I'm a huge fan of artist residencies. I've been to, I think, 3 or 4 in person artist residencies, and here with Photo Trouvée, of course. We've been hosting, this is going to be, I think, our 4th or 5th cohort, I think 4th.
yeah,
So yeah, so it's pretty amazing, and it's basically a program that you attend for a certain amount of time where you can really focus on creating a new body of work or developing a project and just having a space that usually on a day-to-day you wouldn't have to just focus and concentrate on your art practice. And my favorite thing about doing a residency, whether it is in person or a virtual one, is just connecting with so many different artists with, different backgrounds and experiences, and sometimes even like different career levels, because the exchange is just so amazing, and it's just so refreshing as well to be able to see what other people are creating and have conversations around art. And of course, meet other people in the art industry as well. Because maybe for some of you, having a career as an artist is not necessarily your final goal, but maybe for some of you is, and networking is so important. And whether you're wanting to create as a form of self-expression or whether you're taking it more professionally, it's a great space to just kind of reset where you were, unblock your creativity in case you were feeling blocked or that you're not being able to create that often. And the biggest difference is that as opposed to just, being at a physical space for a certain amount of days, you're doing it on a weekly basis, at least with us, but still carving out time for your art practice with a group that is also sharing the same focus and the same goal as you are to develop and do research and all of that.
yeah. And something that's really um convenient and amazing about doing a virtual residency as opposed to an in-person is that you don't have to pack up your studio, pack up your materials, travel, get to a new space, get familiar with the space, which, sometimes it's not as easy to just bring your things with you, get somewhere, and then you have to start creating right away because usually it's sometimes a little bit shorter when it's an in-person residency. And so that can kind of take you out of feeling comfortable right away, as opposed to a virtual residency where you don't have to travel, you don't have to pack up your studio, your materials, your projects, and you're already in your own space in which you're comfortable making in, so you can sort of get started right away, as opposed to having this kind of transitional period of time. Another reason is that, we can't all travel just whenever we want. Some people have maybe full-time jobs. Some people are maybe caring for a child. And so having the ability to attend a virtual residency is just as valid, and it's a beautiful experience when you might not be able to attend an in-person one right in this moment of your career or your life. And another thing is that residencies are great to add to your CV, your art CV. They're a great thing that sometimes galleries look for, or whether you're trying to have an exhibition. So that's a great thing to add to your CV. And doing a virtual residency does allow you to maybe attend more residencies if you wanted than maybe in-person ones. So they're a really great addition to your art CV as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Twiggy. So now we want to talk a little bit about our program. So our spring cohort is going to run from April 20th to June 22nd. And this time we're doing a 10-week virtual program. Just so you know, like we started as a 5-week program, and then we switched it to a 9-week program because it wasn't enough. And we still felt that people would benefit more from having a 10-week program as opposed to 9, just because even though it seems like a really long time just passes so quickly. So we wanted to offer an extra call so we can all connect and benefit even more from it. And it is going to work with having like weekly live calls. Twiggy and I will always be there for you, and we'll also have some guest speakers. So during this program, you'll be invited to set goals, carve out time for your art practice, focus on a specific project or research, or even just like organizing yourself. And our favorite part is connecting with artists from all over, because it's a virtual exhibition, a virtual residency. We are able to have people from all over. So on our last group, we had 2 artists from South America, I think 4 or 5 artists from North America, and then at least 2 from Europe and 1 from Asia. So it's really incredible just having people from so many different cultures and backgrounds coming together to share this passion and their creativity and projects and all of that. Because it's our high-end product and project, we can only accommodate 10 artists. We even had more artists in the past. We went up to 12, but we felt like doing a smaller group would be better. And right now we only have 7 slots available. So we have already 3 artists that join us. And we decided to do that just because we want to give our best and hold this safe container for all of us to express as much as we can, share thoughts and bounce ideas. And sometimes having a smaller group is better for that.
Yeah, definitely. And because it's so contained, it's those 10 weeks, you're gonna get to choose what level of commitment you want to make, because it's going to be your residency. But it is, I'm not gonna say intense, but it's a 10-week period where we're going to be really focusing on this project that we're working on. And so being able to have 10 people will allow us to be even more involved in your projects. And it just works out better that way. At least we think so.
Absolutely. Uh, so what does this program offer? So as we mentioned, we'll have weekly Zoom calls with the two of us. The calls will last from an hour to 1.5 hours. We try to honor this amount of time our best, but there may be days where we'll have to go a little over. But at least from 1 hour to 1.5 hours, so everyone gets to share and connect. And one of our favorite things about the residency also is hosting a live art making studio session. So this is a day that we come together to our studios to create and just have conversations around what we're doing, or answer questions and just feel that we're in a community, because sometimes it can be really lonely, like creating just by yourself. So it's one of my favorite parts of the program.
Yeah, we're also going to have two artist talks that are led by professionals in the industry. We'll have one early on in the residency by an artist, so that we can get some inspiration and we can feel empowered to create our own work. And then later on, we'll have someone who comes in and does a workshop on writing an artist statement, which is very important, especially if you're trying to be in an exhibition, in a museum, in a gallery, even, you even might need it for a publication. So learning to write an artist statement, and maybe you already have one, and that's great. But this talk is really great because it touches on if you've never done it, and also if you already have a statement and how you can improve it and make it even better.
Yes, and we love bringing Victoria Fry, to host this call. She has a platform here in New York City that is huge, and she's also a gallery owner and also runs a magazine too. So she knows what she's talking about. And of course, she's just the sweetest person, and she guides you through writing or rewriting in a very thoughtful way too.
Yeah.
And apart from that, we do offer small accountability groups. So we have this larger container of 10 people, but we also split you into different smaller groups with 2 to 3, sometimes 4 max people, just so you can connect on a deeper level. And that's actually how Twiggy and I became really friends. We were doing a program together and we were put on the same accountability group, and we became like very close friends, and we started working together too. And we, in this 10 live calls, we'll have 6 group feedback calls. And these group feedback calls are a way for you to share what you're working on, ask questions, ask for feedback. So it's not exactly like a critique group, but it's more of a safe space where we get to share and support each other, and you receive feedback from the two of us, but also from other people on the group.
Yeah, and I just want to come in and say that if you have been to art school and you've experienced you have a negative idea of critiques because they were not positive for you, or you've had a bad experience, we just want to make sure that we let you know that these feedback sessions are very positive and very encouraging. We've never had anyone not, behave in a very encouraging and kind way. And this is something that we value. And so if you've had a bad experience seeing like, oh, we're going to have like a feedback call and we're going to talk about my work, and that could be triggering for you. And we understand that. And we want to let you know that we're really fostering a positive and kind program here.
Mhm.
And we would not allow that in,
Yes.
this program and this space. And so from what we've seen, it's been amazing to get group feedback from the full group. And like Juliana mentioned, we'll have those smaller accountability group that will also help you throughout the week. But the big group feedback sessions are really great because you're getting, different people's perspectives, different people's advice, and they're um, like suggesting artists to look at and suggesting materials to try or techniques. And it's just been really a positive aspect of the program. And I just wanted to touch on that because I know that for some, it can feel a little bit intimidating to see that.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, connections and networking opportunities, not only with the two of us with Photo Trouvée, but also, with guest speakers and between the group, essentially, because we do have people that ended up building a relationship when it comes like to creating together, doing collaborations and all of that. So this is such a fun aspect too. And of course, you have live access to replays of the calls. So what we do is we have a private YouTube hub with all of the recordings of the sessions that you can go back not only in case you missed a live session, but also after the program ends, or especially like, oh, it was my feedback session today. I want to go back to take even more notes of what people were sharing with me and all of that. And again, the feedback sessions are also a great opportunity for you to practice talking more about your work, and even like feeling what it's like to give an artist talk, because this can also be incredibly great for your career as well, and open doors for, speaking engagements and other things that will bring revenue uh, to your home too. Uh, and
And
go
oh,
ahead.
sorry. Each participant of the program will also get 1 year of a digital subscription to our magazine. So every time a new issue comes out, you'll receive an email with a code to apply, and you'll be able to download that digital magazine. So we have 3 issues per year. So you'll be able to have 3 issues. And then the last thing is that we will also be hosting a summer virtual exhibition for past resident artists. So this cohort will actually be invited to also participate in this virtual exhibition with other participants from previous residency programs. And we'll be also doing a printed artwork catalog. And we also, anyone who we work with, we always keep in a Google Doc and always consider those people first for future opportunities, because we worked with you, and we want to continue to support you in any way that we can.
Yes. And who is this virtual residency for? So it's for any of you that are working with found photos, family photos, or are inspired by these vintage photographs um, to work. You don't have to be necessarily pursuing an art career. You can come just, if you want to create art with this theme and connect with other artists that have kind of the same inspiration. You can be anywhere in the world, but we do ask you to be able to communicate in English. We will work on solutions in case uh, you need help. I speak Portuguese, a little bit of French. Twiggy speaks French, but you'll benefit the most if you are able to communicate in English, of course, because all the calls will be hosted in English. And one thing that is the difference from our program is that we do not have an application process, just because we feel that sometimes if you've never done an art residency before, um, it's harder to get in and do one just because you don't have this prior experience. And we just want to bring people together that are passionate about what they're doing to create together and connect with others, regardless of their level, where they're at, or if they had a formal background or not.
So some of our goals for this program are making connections with like-minded artists. So we've sort of touched on that for us, for a long time, we didn't really know any other artists who work with this medium. And so that's a big part of our mission as a magazine and a platform. And so making connections is probably the highest on our list, because it feels really amazing to find your community in that way. And we also want to create a safe space and a safe community for you to develop your work or start your work wherever you're at in your career. We want, the program to be inspiring. So you're going to feel inspired because you're accountable and, working along other people who are also focusing on their project. And you'll be able to dedicate time to your art practice. You'll be able to commit to something very specific for the next 10 weeks. So we touched on this before, but that could be making art or completing a project maybe that you've started a long time ago and you've never completed. It could be just researching. We've had some people who use those 10 weeks to make connections and research before creating a project. You could be exploring new mediums, learning new things. Maybe you're letting go of something. Maybe you have felt stuck in some way, or you've had some artist blocks and you're needing a space and a time and a dedicated time to let go of that. We obviously want you to feel empowered through our community, and we love sharing your work, whether that's on Instagram or in our newsletter. We love connecting artists with other artists. And of course, growing your artistic practice.
So we wanted to just quickly go through our schedule and time commitment. As we said, the calls last from 1 to 1.5 hours, and 9 of them are happening on Saturdays. So as you can see, most of them are starting at 10:30 a.m. EST. We will have the studio session that it's going to start at 1, because it's a longer call. So this is like more of a 2.5 hours call. So we wanted to give everyone time to eat lunch and have a slow morning if needed, depending on where you are. And then the only call that will be happening on a Friday, it's the call with Victoria. So that will be happening last day of May at 5 p.m. EST. And of course, the recordings will always be available in case you miss one. But we'll basically have a meet and greet session with the residency plan that it's kind of the guide that you have to help you throughout the program to have clarity on what you're going to do, what you want to explore. And then our second call will already be an artist talk, and we'll split you into accountability pods, and then we'll have 6 artist feedback sessions, the studio session, and writing your artist statement session. So this is what we'll be doing in the
Yeah, and
10 weeks.
each artist participating is going to have 2 feedback sessions. So you will go 2 times. So in more in the beginning of the program, and then more towards the end. So you get as much feedback as possible throughout, the development of your project.
Yes. And we've been working with, I think, more than 30 artists now for this program. So we just wanted to quickly share some of the feedback that we received and from artists that are, in different moments of their careers. Because it's really life-changing. I guess you can say they are really special. Um, so Lisa is one of the sweetest artists ever, and she wrote, I did not know how much I was going to enjoy the residency. I went back to college for a second degree in art about 1994, and I produced so many projects during that time. And this residency has had the same effect on me. I think I created around 15 pieces. The feedback and positive attitudes of all who attended, including, of course, Twiggy and Juliana, was so much more than I could ever have anticipated. Someone said in the final shares class, creating art can be so isolating, and you get so used to it that you don't realize that you need to surround yourself with like minded people every so often. It helps push through some ideas that might be sitting in the back of your mind. That suddenly come forward or seeing someone else's or struggle is something that we can all relate to. After the artist talk with Jane, I immediately created something very new to my aesthetic and have continued in that vein. The information that Alicia shared with us regarding the artist statement and bio, well, that caused me to spend several hours gathering information into a concise and hopefully readable format, and have since sent to both to an open call. I just cannot thank you both of you for putting the time and effort into something so wonderful. So our favorite part is really seeing that our artists really benefit and get inspired and are able to create something new. And here's another testimonial from another artist, Joanna. Joanna has also an incredible work uh, and has worked with us in one of the magazines first. So Juliana and Twiggy have created something really special with this virtual residency program. I had previously done artist residencies, but in person, not virtual, and wasn't sure what to expect. For 9 weeks, this residency helped me set goals, focus on completing multiple projects for an ongoing body of work, and foster new connections with other artists doing very different work than my own, but whose thought processes and technical methods expanded my own repertoire and approach. And since the residency is virtual, the artists were from all over the States and in Europe, which couldn't have been possible if we were in person, certainly not for 9 weeks. The pods that Juliana and Twiggy within the larger group ensured that we supported each other in making work, helped each other stay on track, and provided very valuable critique and feedback outside of the weekly residency meetings. The special meetings, visiting artist talk, workshop on embroidering on photographs, and the talk on crafting and effective artist statements were all so well chosen and punctuated our feedback sessions with constructive content. I would highly recommend doing this residency to any artist working with found or family photographs, particularly if they would like to deepen their connection to the found photo community and expand their arsenal of techniques and approaches.
Yeah, so we wanted to share a few of these because sometimes, I mean, at least for me, like it helps to read other people's experiences in the program. And, it can make you feel maybe more at ease. And, we can go, if you get the recording of this call, so you can always go back and look at them again. And just see for yourself what people felt and how the program has helped them, whether that's getting the confidence to write an artist statement, apply to open calls, or just, created lifelong friendships. Like I know that Joanna, which was the second feedback testimonial that we read, she was in a smaller pod with two other artists, and I think that to this day they still meet weekly on Zoom, and they still help each other stay accountable and inspired. And for us, that's really the point of this, is just finding
Yes.
people that are going to help you and push you to go farther with your practice.
Yes, absolutely. And last but not least, we wanted to share the investment to join, and also like reading the statements is helpful to making a choice to join us because we understand that it's a higher price point than other things, but at the same time, you'll be working with the two of us and other people from the industry for 10 weeks. Um, so we want to make it as affordable as possible, but at the same time in a sustainable way, not only for the two of us, but for the guest speakers that we're inviting to help with their knowledge with us, because these are also like paid speaking opportunities for them. So the investment is the one-time full payment of 500. So basically, if you split it between the 10 calls, $50 per call, or two installments of 255. And as a thank you for your interest and time, we're offering a 15% discount, which means 75%, $75 off with the code info15 during checkout, valid until Sunday, or if we run out of spots before that too, because there are only 10 slots available. But we want to always be able to work with people from different places. So we are also open to talking a little more in case you're really interested. We do offer sometimes partial scholarships, a full scholarship as well. That this time was already given to one artist that reached out with an amazing project. But we're here to connect with you. And last but not least, we have time for a Q&A if anyone wants to um, ask something.
You
And yes,
can unmute or you can type in the chat if you're more comfortable.
yes,
And if you can't, sometimes we can't think of questions right away because we just received a lot of information. So you can always email us with questions if you need.
yes,
So we'll wait a few minutes. If anyone wants to unmute or type in the chat, we can hang out for a little bit. And
yes. And you can register on our website, which is www.phototrouvémagazine.com. And you will receive an email with this recording, the discount code, and the website to apply to register for our program.
okay, so I guess if nobody has any questions, we'll do a last call. If you have a question, let us know. But if not, we want to thank you so much for joining live or watching the recording, whichever you're doing from your home. And we hope that this was helpful in guiding your decision, in telling you more about the program. And again, if you have any questions that linger, oh, you're welcome, Ginger. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, if you have any questions, don't hesitate. You can always email us or DM us. So
Yes, and we host this program twice a year. So this is our spring session. We'll have another one. So in case, you need to plan yourself better, keep an eye for the next group. But again, it's just 2 sessions a year with very limited slots. But it's something that will happen again in the future too.
Devian.
And thank you, everyone. And we'll see you on Instagram or on our membership community too. So maybe if it's not the time for you to join the residency program, but you're still looking for a community, we recently launched our membership with 2 calls a month on Patreon. And that's a lower price point too. So you can find all about the program on our website or on Instagram too. Okay.
Thank you so
Fan-
much, everyone.
Yes, thank you so much. And I hope you all have a great weekend ahead.
Bye.
Bye.